The boardroom buzzed with the sharp clack of polished shoes and the rustle of tailored suits. Each executive smirked sharper than the last. The CEO stood at the head of the table, his face a storm cloud, pointing at the sleek model of their new $200 million headquarters. A design so breathtaking, so alive with human warmth, it had already sparked a frenzy in the media. "This can't be his work," he barked, his voice slicing through the room as he fixed his glare on Marcus Green, a mid-level architect fidgeting under the spotlight. "Bring me the real architect." The words landed like a gavel, and the room fell silent, the air heavy as if time itself had paused. Then, from the back, where no one ever bothered to look, a janitor named Elena Thompson raised her hand, trembling but steady. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Eyes widened, some in disbelief, others in mockery. In that moment, Elena's quiet gesture cracked the foundation of Stratos' design firm, revealing a truth that would reshape everything. If this story grips your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Midnight Tales for more real-life inspired stories that stir the soul. Elena Thompson had been part of Stratos for 6 years, not as an architect, but as the evening janitor. To the firm's employees, she was a shadow, someone who mopped up their spills, emptied their bins, and vanished before morning. Most never learned her name. To them, she was just the woman who kept the office clean, her presence as unremarkable as the hum of the air conditioning. But behind her quiet demeanor and work-worn hands was a mind that still dreamed in blueprints and light. 10 years earlier, Elena had been the star of her class at a top-tier architecture school, her designs earning whispers of genius. But life had other plans. A sudden illness in her family forced her to drop out, trading her drafting tools for odd jobs to cover her brother's mounting medical bills. Dreams were shelved but never abandoned. At Stratos, Elena found an unexpected solace in the late-night quiet. After her cleaning shifts, she'd linger in the design studios, her eyes tracing the unfinished sketches left on desks. She began taking photos of these drafts, reworking them at home in a small apartment lit by a single lamp. Her sketches, drawn in charcoal and ink, filled an old portfolio she kept hidden in her closet. Her hands, roughened by years of scrubbing with harsh chemicals, still carried the precision of an artist. She built towers in her mind, bridges that spanned impossible distances and sanctuaries that felt like home. Each line she drew was a rebellion against the life that had tried to erase her. One night, while vacuuming near Marcus Green's cubicle, Elena noticed a rendering glowing on his computer screen. It was beautiful but flawed, a structure that leaned too heavily on aesthetics, ignoring the flow of human movement. She hesitated, her heart pounding, then scribbled a small suggestion on a sticky note and left it unsigned. The next morning, she saw Marcus had incorporated her idea. It worked. The design was stronger, more alive. It became a secret ritual, anonymous notes, subtle edits, quiet contributions that no one noticed but everyone felt. Marcus, unaware of the source, began to joke about a ghost in the office, a mysterious helper boosting his work. He never suspected the janitor who greeted him with a shy nod in the elevator was the genius behind his rising star. Months passed, and Elena's invisible touch shaped entire projects. Her suggestions slipped into the cracks of Marcus's work, made his design stand out. When Stratos announced their biggest challenge yet, a pitch for a new corporate headquarters that would define the firm's future, Marcus was chosen to lead it. Panic gripped him. He was talented, but this project demanded brilliance he wasn't sure he had. One night, alone in the office, he whispered to the empty hallway, half joking, half desperate, "Whoever you are, help me again." Elena, mopping nearby, stepped out of the shadows. Marcus froze. "You?" he whispered, his voice a mix of shock and awe as Elena hesitantly showed him her sketches. Page after page of charcoal and ink, each line pulsing with suppressed brilliance. Marcus felt a rush of emotions: shame, gratitude, wonder. He knew he could never create like this. They formed a secret pact. Elena designed, pouring her soul into every curve and angle, while Marcus refined her work and presented it as his own. He gave her access to his design software, and she stayed up after her cleaning shifts, working until dawn. The day of the unveiling arrived, a grand event attended by clients, journalists, and even the mayor. The CEO shook Marcus's hand, beaming as he addressed the crowd. "We're proud of this design," he said, his voice booming. "But something doesn't add up. I've known Marcus for years, and, forgive me, son, this feels beyond you. So let me ask this clearly. Who is the real architect?" The room stilled, the air thick with anticipation. From the back, where she'd been quietly mopping in her worn uniform, Elena raised her hand. Murmurs erupted. Some gasped. Others laughed, assuming it was a prank. The CEO's eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" he demanded. Elena stepped forward, her spine straight, her heart pounding like a war drum. "My name is Elena Thompson," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "I'm the janitor here, but I'm also the one who designed this building." Disbelief hung in the air, thick as fog. Marcus stepped beside her, his voice firm. "It's true. Everything you see in that model, those were her ideas. I just helped bring them into the software. She's been designing at night, while we all sleep." A stunned silence followed. The CEO, skeptical but intrigued, demanded to see her work. Elena pulled out her old portfolio, the one she'd carried through years of struggle. She laid it across the table, and one by one, the room leaned in. The pages weren't just drawings, they were stories. Schools shaped like open arms, homes that caught light in all the right ways, community centers with gardens blooming on their roofs. Every sketch bore the mark of someone who had known loss, but still believed in beauty. The CEO sat back, his expression softening. "You design with feeling," he said, almost to himself. Elena nodded. "I've cleaned enough corners to know where the light should fall. I've walked through silent offices to know what makes a space feel alive. And I've had to give up dreams before, but not anymore." The room was quiet, the weight of her words sinking in. The firm offered her a job on the spot. An architect's title, a desk, a salary. But Elena wanted more than a position. She wanted a voice. And somewhere, in a light that falls just right through those glass walls, you can still see the faint outline of a janitor's hand, sketching a future no one else dared to imagine.